Welcome back to a special edition of How Are You Now?
Good and you?
Oh, not so bad. Today's special edition, we have a very special guest joining us today, James Daly. James, how are you now?
Not so bad. How are you, bud?
I'm swell. So we thank you, number one, for joining us today, because I'm a huge fan. Ever since you first showed up on the screen of Letterkenny, I've been a huge fan.
Oh yeah.
We do a little thing on the show.
You're gonna embarrass me, aren't you?
I'm gonna embarrass both. I'll probably embarrass myself as well. There's a thing that we do on the show called Fuck Fight Ferda, and it's our version of Fuck Marry Kill. And I don't think there's a time. I'm a straight guy.
Yep.
Now I'm not super straight.
Time to place.
Yeah. But I will say that every time that you've been on the show, you've always been on my fuck list. So, or Ron has been.
Yes,
Ron has been on my fuck list.
Usually Ron and Dax together.
Yeah, it's a package deal.
Oh, definitely. But so we have a lot of fun with your characters because they're amazing. And you bring a lot to the table. But we just we wanted to chat with you because you are one of the newer actors on the show. But what you guys bring to the table, you got this charisma that's just amazing. So we wanted to get to know you a little bit more because we think you are definitely an interesting person, and you bring you got so much going on. I follow your Instagram and everything, so I want to know about you.
Well, what do you want to know?
Let's start off.
Let's start off. Well, the pandemic has definitely affected everyone, especially the entertainment industry. And so how's that been for you in this last year, and what you've been doing about it?
It's been tricky because I do a lot of theater as well. So I work at a theater company called the Shaw Festival based in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is where I am right now. And the season last year had to be totally canceled. We ended up figuring out how to do some outdoor performances in the fall, just like a concert series. We were going around to the different wineries in Niagara-on-the-Lake and doing concerts in the vineyards and stuff, which was nice. Really cool. And yeah, it was really nice actually once we sort of got that up and running. But our whole season, which was 11 shows, a mixture of plays and musicals, obviously couldn't go ahead. So that was a huge bummer. And we were hoping that we were going to be able to do some of the shows this year, but the two shows that I was in, they were both musicals and they've been canceled for this year as well. So yeah, I know. But the Shaw Festival has actually been really, really amazing at keeping their artists employed and afloat, and they've kept me hired. They kept me hired all last year, and they've hired me again this year, even though my shows aren't in the playbill anymore. We're going to be doing some more of those outdoor concerts type things, and trying to figure out some more performances and some entertainment that we can do either on the terrace or on the sort of Shaw campus, if you will. So things are in the works. I feel like I've been really lucky actually to be working at the Shaw, and the fact that they've kept me employed and kept giving me a paycheck for most of last year and this year. So generally speaking, the pandemic could have been a lot worse for me than it was. Wasn't able to perform the shows that I had planned on doing, but otherwise, I mean, obviously it's been a lot of downtime. Everybody's, I'm sure, had a lot of downtime, which has caused me to work on my music a little bit more. I'm a actor as well as a musician, singer, songwriter, guitarist. So it's given me lots of time to sort of switch gears a little bit and focus on some other things that I love doing as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I've definitely seen you put a lot more music stuff out on your Instagram lately. You've been playing your guitar a lot. I've noticed that, which I think you're fantastic at. Like I was saying earlier, I saw that fat body Gibson that you have. It's beautiful guitar. I played in rockabilly bands, and I saw, I had a number of friends who played those, the Epiphones and the Gibsons that, with those big hollow bodies and just have a really nice sound.
Yeah, I've got a Gibson ES 335, the semi hollow body, and it's a gorgeous guitar.
I love hearing you play because you've got number one, you've got a great voice, you've got great ear for what you're playing. How did you get into that?
I did a lot of like school band and choir and stuff when I was in elementary school and junior high and high school. So I've always kind of done music and been a part of bands and stuff. I really started playing guitar in high school. Mom got me an acoustic guitar when I was in like grade 10, and I really took to it and started writing songs about girls and stuff. And I guess really just fell in love with it and discovered that I had a natural talent for it. And it brought me a lot of comfort and companionship, I think, as well, especially when I moved away and went to theater school. I was living by myself and, took my guitar, obviously, that Mom had gifted me. And it really kept me company a lot throughout theater school and just through, I don't know, the life of an actor. I'm on my own a lot. So music and the guitar especially has always kind of been there for me. And I just go back to it. And it's wild, like, practicing really pays off.
Oh yeah,
it does. And there's also no like shortcuts. It's just time in. You got to spend a lot of time practicing. But if you do it, like I've been playing guitar for like 10 years, I guess now or more, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm much more proficient on this than I ever thought that I would be. But it just, goes to show, like, you put the time in, you will get better at it eventually.
So have you become a collector of guitars?
Like, no, not really. I have 2 electric guitars. I have my Gibson 335 and I've got a Fender Strat, which is like my baby.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got 2 acoustic guitars that are sort of cheap acoustic guitars. I've yet to get myself like a proper, I don't know, really top of the line acoustic guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think once I do, I'd like to get myself a Martin, like an orchestra model, Martin acoustic guitar. And then once I have that, but I keep saying that, I'm like, I just need this one more guitar. And then
that's the trap. And then in 40 years, you're going to be like our friend Jack.
Yeah. Guy used to play
he's got a guitar room.
Yeah. I think he's got 4 or 5 different Les Pauls.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the Gretsch, the Brian Setzer Gretsch.
Cool.
So yeah, he's got quite a few guitars. So
like, I mean, I don't really have the bug for that. I think if I have, a guitar that will serve each purpose that I need, I think I'm good. I don't really need to keep collecting them.
But you could be talked into it, I bet.
See how the rest of your career, like, trajectory.
So getting into Ron, how was it that you came to, number one, to become Ron, and how was it slipping into that character?
Sorry.
There's so many windows there that I'm just doing my best to not latch onto.
You can.
I'm all for the innuendo.
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 Ron. I was really stoked when I booked it. I got the audition in Toronto a few years ago and went in and did the audition and then heard from my agent that I had booked it and then heard that a buddy of mine, Greg, had booked the other role, Dax. And I knew Greg because we both went to the same theater school, different years. I don't even think we overlapped. I think I graduated before he got to the school, but we knew of each other and we had hung out a couple times before. So I was really stoked that it was a person that I at least knew who they were and knew that they were a good actor and a cool dude. So I was stoked to start shooting it. And it was just originally written as a 3-episode arc. And Greg and I, like, practiced a lot. We had that like 4-hour drive from Toronto up to Sudbury in the shuttle van together, where we just kind of like ran our lines and got our rhythm really locked in. And then when we got to set, we were just able to kind of rapid fire, like spit it. And everybody was really impressed with that. And Kiso especially, I remember him coming up to us on our first day of shooting, like in between a take. And he just looked at us and he was like, this was good. This worked out. I was like,
oh my God. Yeah.
You guys have amazing chemistry with each other.
My God. Yeah.
We totally were convinced that you guys knew each other really well before playing the roles.
We knew each other super well, but like, I don't know, that like obviously the show has such a strong, distinct style of its own. So I think that is, partly why the show has been so successful, is because it does have a unique style that audience members can latch onto, and then also the actors can realize like, okay, this is the world that I'm stepping into, so I need to bring it in this sort of way, and it gives everybody's performance and the whole world a uniformity that I think a lot of art is missing. And if people aren't acting in the same world, then the kind of falls apart. But I mean, obviously they had such an incredible following, and they knew what they were doing. Like their whole team on set just like works like clockwork, and everybody's in a good mood on set too. Like it's a comedy, so like most of the people there are funny, and the show's been successful, so there's just really good vibes around the set as well. So it was just a joy to come into and get to be a part of, I guess.
How much of the character do you have? Like, have you had any input into the character?
No, not really. Like, Kiso kind of writes everything with Jacob, and he's told me and Greg in recent seasons that he'll text us when he's writing it, sort of like, the months before we start shooting, and he'll get excited and be like, I got some really funny stuff for you guys coming up. We're like, okay. And then he'll be like, I pictured you guys saying these lines. Like, I know exactly how you're going to say it. And so
okay.
He's starting to write with our voices in mind, which is cool. So I think unconsciously we're sort of informing how he's writing the character, maybe I'll say, but yeah, no, we don't really like give input on what the character should do or say or whatever, unless it's little improv things in the scenes, which sometimes we get to do.
Was that like slap? The leg slap? Yeah.
Yeah. The leg slap was definitely an improv.
How did you come up with that?
That's one of my favorite things.
No, actually, like on set, like that line wasn't even in there. They're like, see these thighs, they don't tell no lies or something. But Kiso just kept being like me and Greg were wearing these tiny short shorts and had our foot up on the bench, and he kept being like, look at his thighs. He's got these huge thighs. We're back to and I was like, bro, I don't think my thighs are that big, but okay. Anyway, then Greg wanted to put in, actually, I will say, Greg had this idea to put in, I've had 5 guys with a side of fries. And
between these thighs.
I think we came up with that one in the car, and I remember Greg like pitching that to Jacob on set, and then Jacob being like, what are you guys coming up with alternate lines in the car or something? We were like, no, we love you. But then Jacob, I think he told me to say the line, and then Greg was like, what the fuck? That was my line. I'm really sorry. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how the thigh slap came up, but they really encourage us to just be ridiculous and try stuff. And so that's what came to me in the moment.
That was brilliant. I mean, yeah, that when that happened, I mean, it was just a small moment, but I'm like, that's fucking amazing.
When we do the podcast, when we do the podcast, we watch each episode like a million times. And so little things like that really, like, especially because that was one that in the first time watching through, we were like, that was awesome. So then every time we watch it, it just either gets funnier or we're like, okay, I see why they did that.
Because yeah, at first you're just kind of, it just happens and you're like, right. Holy shit. And then you start paying attention to your face and then Greg's face. Just the whole interaction is brilliant.
Thanks, man.
So you guys play hockey players.
Oh yeah.
You're Canadian. Do you play?
Yeah.
Do you?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I literally played my first game of hockey this past Christmas when I was home in Newfoundland, and it was a lot of fun. Like I always wanted to play hockey growing up, but I just never did. I never got into it. Also, I think hockey is like pretty expensive, and we didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I didn't play hockey. I played soccer and other less expensive sports. But I love hockey, and I've skated, growing up, just public skating and stuff like that. And my dad played hockey when he was younger, so he wanted to get us out skating. And I played a lot of street hockey as well. So I mean, I love the sport. I just never played ice hockey properly. But anyway, yeah, this past Christmas, there was an empty ice rink that my mom and her partner were able to get for us to go in and just like fool around in for a little while. And we ended up playing like a pickup game of hockey in there. And
nice.
I was like, this is sick. I wish I'd been doing this all my life.
Well, yeah, because I'm waiting to see you guys take the ice on the show. And
yeah, I'm not sure that's ever happening.
Well, because we talked to Jess and Kelly about their characters, and not really having any experience playing either. So it's kind of funny. I mean, there's them sitting on the bench and chirping.
And then so many actors on Letterkenny who do play hockey don't actually play it in the show,
right?
Like Tyler.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's a lot of hockey players on the show. I think like Tyler had that one episode. Maybe it was the Valentine's Day episode.
It was.
Yeah. Where they got to fool around. Yeah. And that was a fun one to watch. Did we talk to him after that?
I don't remember. I think it was after. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, and both. What I think is funny, hilarious about that is they both played Don Cherry. So.
They did?
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, because Tyler played young Don Cherry in the same show, whereas Jared played older Don Cherry.
Cool.
It was the Don Cherry story or something. I can't remember the exact name of it, but yeah,
those boys are so talented at acting and also playing hockey. They're so cool.
Yeah, that's the thing I heard about Kiso is that acting was his fallback from playing hockey.
I mean,
times are hard.
And a lot of people are happy about that. So
I know, right? I certainly am. Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah. So yeah, tell me about. Do you have a funny Jared Kiso story?
I mean, okay, the one that comes to mind, like he loves to party and like to take the cast out for drinks and food, and he's such a gentleman. He's so kind. Like he'll pick up the tab for everybody at the table after we've done eating, and I just find that to be so generous of him. And then there was one time, this is such a stupid story, but like it sticks out in my memory because I just hadn't seen him get like, I don't know, kind of let loose and be silly with us up until this point, but we had gone out for wings or something, and then we were getting a cab back to the hotel, I think, and it was me and Greg and probably Dylan and Andrew and Kiso and Nathan just in this van cab, and we'd all had a few drinks, and Kiso kept like diving over the seat and like starting either like fighting or like tickling. It wasn't tickling. He was like basically wrestling with like Nathan or Dylan, and then he would like sit back in his seat and be like, all right. And then he would do it again and dive on them like over the seat, and he just was being so rowdy in this cab, and I was like, this is great.
That's the kind of boss you want to have,
Hell
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, we're just gonna wrestle, and I was like, sick.
Oh my God, I'm just imagining it now.
But you're imagining it shirtless. Is what
I mean, everyone in Letterkenny is shirtless in my mind. So
there you go.
I mean, seriously though, it is one of the most visually appealing casts.
Very true.
Of shows that
you're all pretty.
All pretty. Every single one of y'all.
You guys are not too bad yourselves. All right.
I'm old and depressed with terrible skincare right now. So.
I do all right for being 52.
Yeah, you're okay for an old guy.
I'm all right for an old guy.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah.
All right. So one of the things we kind of sort of mentioned was in America, we like to joke around that Canadian actors are all incestuous and that you're all in the same shows. So like if you find one Canadian show, you like Supernatural, for example, you'll find multiple Letterkenny people on that, or The Expanse, or just like all of these shows, and you'll see the same actors over and over. And we were curious, how many, like if you have any good stories of shows that you've been in, either plays or other things that we don't know about, because we don't get a lot of Canadian stuff down here.
Right. I recently shot a couple episodes on a CBC show called Workin' Moms. I don't know if you've heard of Workin' Moms.
Mm-hmm. I have, yeah.
I did a couple episodes on that with a character that was like very similar to Ronzi in his energy and in his sort of bro-iness, I guess. The character's name was Brody. So there you go, Brody. And he was a real estate agent who's just like super stoked to sell you your dream home. And they basically wanted me to like be as energetic as possible on set. And they were getting me to like improv a little bit in the shoot as well. And I don't want to give too much away, but he's showing a condo and he's like demonstrating how thick the windows are in the condo, that they won't break even if you like run at them.
Oh.
And so to a client, he's like, watch, just look. And he sprints at the window and ends up crashing through the window and flying out of this condo building from the 12th story. So very, very over the top and very silly, very, I don't know, the shock value of that. When my mom saw it, she was like, I don't like watching things where you die. And I was like, oh.
I mean, she's got a point.
I know. There's been a couple like musicals that I've been in where I've died in the show as well. And she's like, when are you going to not die? Just keep watching Letterkenny. I don't think
keep watching.
Right, yeah.
Nobody dies except for Uncle Eddie. That's, that's the only one who's ever died on Letterkenny.
Right. And I'm so not used to that as soon as you said that, my heart started beating like we were talking about like Game of Thrones or something again. And like a lot of the shows we watch, a lot of people die. So
your favorite character.
Which what? Oh,
they're
right.
just going to kill your favorite character without
exactly.
Although I do have to say that with Game of Thrones, my favorite character did not die.
Arya?
Who was that?
Arya.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
From the very beginning. Sassy little girl with just not taking any shit.
Gender nonconforming.
Exactly.
Like that was the big one for me. I was like, yay, a girl who's going to fight and they're not making it like she has to wear dresses and shit. So.
Yeah, she's a young girl who can fucking kick ass. It's sick. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we need that kind of, more representation. And I think that's the thing that we love about Letterkenny is the amount of representation that it does have, and that it kind of, and it's funny.
But it's ambiguous representation. They don't like,
it flies below the radar.
Hey, look, I'm bi. I'm going to make out with this one and this one, except when it's, part of the joke, which is always great. So.
Yeah. So yeah, it's never, it's not like Glee where it was
right.
Where it was
a very special episode.
Right.
No, it's just kind of worked into the plot, and that's not the main plot point, but it just happens to be happening as well. So you just learn to just kind of accept it and move on without even realizing it is the hope.
Right. And that's definitely one of the biggest reasons I love this show.
Awesome.
Again, I don't watch a lot of comedies. Although I do find lately that I've been watching a lot of Canadian comedies, and because binging in the apocalypse.
We've been watching something near your hometown.
Oh yeah,
Republic of Doyle.
You have?
Yes.
Oh yes. We're about halfway through season 5 right now.
Well, and it started, it was on Netflix, and we were like, oh, it's kind of like Psych, which we totally loved. And then it moved to Amazon, so now we're actually even watching it with commercials. So that's commitment right there.
That's so funny. I remember like that show was shooting when I was in high school, I think. And Alan Hocko, the star and writer and creator, he went to the theater school that I went to as well. So I just thought like, this dude is the coolest, and I just wanted to be on the show. I ended up doing background on the show one time and thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And yeah,
that's awesome.
Doyle, I can't believe you're watching it.
It's making me want to move out there for retirement. Like, it's so freaking pretty.
St. John's looks so pretty.
It's gorgeous. It's. I mean, and I'm like, it's cheaper to live there than it is here in Seattle. So,
yeah. And of course, I keep quoting Letterkenny, like about Tree Rivers, and anytime they talk about Labrador, like, oh,
totally. I mean, yeah, like St. John's weather-wise is a bit of a nightmare. Republic of Doyle makes it look really pretty most of the time.
Yeah.
I think right now they're going through like rain and fog for like 7 days straight or something, with just like no sun, like barely any visibility. It's almost comical how depressing and dismal the weather is out there. But
I mean, well, I was born and raised in Seattle. And the weather has definitely changed over the last, 10 years or so. Well, 15 really. But yeah, that sounds like Seattle in the spring and fall, although not anymore. Like, we're actually having weirdly clear and freezing days. Like,
Interesting.
So I saw you recently on, actually it was about a year ago, you were on Popternative. And you were talking about something that I've brought up a number of times about the Shakespearean type writing of the show. And especially in my view, the skids are very much like Shakespearean fools.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, yeah, I was, when I heard you say that, I'm like, somebody else said that. So, I mean, yeah, it's that.
And a lot of the show, like the blocking is like they're putting on a play. Like when you talk about being a stage actor, every time there's a scene out at the fruit stand, that absolutely is blocked like they're up on stage instead of being filmed with a camera. And like when they're on the deck smoking, you know, all the different things, they just really feel like very intentional, like simple, but
it's heightened in a way.
Yeah.
It's stylized in a way that's like, it's a bit absurdist. Somehow.
Yes.
Which helps you buy into it a little bit, because it's almost like realism. You can never make something that's actually, totally real life on stage. And even if you could, why would you want to just watch everyday life unfold on stage or in a TV show or something like that? So you want a bit of heightened reality, I think, and it's really charming to watch. And yeah, like you said, the skids especially, their language is so theatrical that it
and like you said, absurd. I mean, it's
they are they're Shakespearean fools. They are, and I cannot even think right now. I'm thinking of the cops.
From Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah.
So I Am But an Ass.
Yes. Like that's exactly what I picture every time Tyler and Evan are in the scene together, really.
Yeah. Oh, you guys know your Shakespeare. That's pretty cool.
So I'm autistic, and when I was a kid, I was a hyper focus on reading. I probably read the complete works of Shakespeare before I was out of elementary school.
Wow.
It's a weird thing, like looking back on that. Like I still have a copy from college because then I took college courses.
Shakespeare.
Nice. I always feel funny when I say that, because it's like I am very much not a very traditionally type person. I like very, I don't know. But Shakespeare is so different because it's both highbrow and lowbrow at the same time. And if you don't understand what they're doing and what they're saying, you're missing half of what's happening. And I love that. I love
it. It's like you kind of need to be fluent in the language before you can really enjoy a Shakespeare, which is difficult. I mean, they do say, Shakespeare well performed, anybody should just be able to understand it. Sort of like an opera. Operas are mostly sung in other languages, but people still understand what's going on. Shakespeare, kind of the same thing. But it can be tricky. I mean, it's a different language. And even obviously back then they didn't speak like that. So he's writing in another language as well.
Yeah. Speaking of that being another language, I mean, I've seen some of those, like the YouTube videos of the guys who actually go and try to recreate it as it was done back in the day. The with the way they spoke, which was almost, I don't know. It was almost very Scottish sounding. the way that they break the language down. It was very interesting.
Yeah, I've heard actually that. Like, it wouldn't have been British. It would have been an accent almost closer to Newfoundland or
that makes sense. Yeah, because that's almost Irish itself. Yeah.
Because I mean, having watched Letterkenny and Republic the by say instead of saying boy, you're saying bye. Just that little tinge. I mean, it's the same word, but it's just a little different flavor to it.
The emphasis is different, or you're going down on it instead of up. And I'm not a speech pathologist, so I don't know what the actual it's diphthong or something like that. But yeah, it's very much like and again, this is totally an autistic thing that my brain does. Whenever I'm talking to or listening to something where somebody has an accent, my brain will start to try and figure it out, and then it'll come out of my mouth without me meaning to. And so like he's gotten so used to a lot of that shit, and that's why he's starting to get fascinated by it. Because, if I talk to my sister who lives in BC, I sound,
Is it like you start to take on her accent?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I have friends from Australia who, when we used to do roller derby, they would purposely hang out with me at the after parties because the more they hung out with me, the more I sounded Australian and things like that. So.
That's sick.
I wish I could do it on purpose. That would be better.
We'll say for an actor trying to learn a new accent, like to just be able to absorb it like that would be super helpful.
Yeah.
But being able to do it on command is not my strong suit.
Right. Well,
I don't think anyone would let me act with a couple of glasses of wine in me, because that's usually when it really happens.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. It's okay.
He's so used to me babbling on. It's fine.
Because I follow you, and it's like I said on Instagram. You did Isma in drag, which
that was awesome.
Now, was that the first time you've done drag? I mean, because you were spot on. I mean,
I really went for it with that one. No, I don't think it's the first time. It's a tradition that we do here at the Shaw Festival. They have these cabaret nights that they call snags, which stands for Saturday Night at the Royal George Theatre here in town, which is one of their theaters. So they have a bunch of different snags throughout the year. There's, a welcome snag, which welcomes all the new actors. There's like a cricket snag, which is like a fundraiser for the cricket team. And then there's a drag snag, like later in the year, where everybody, is encouraged to do drag and do some sort of drag performance. And obviously there's a lot of, gay people who work for the festival who love drag. And obviously with the advent of RuPaul's Drag Race, like drag has become so much more popular. And so it's, been a tradition here at the festival to do a drag cabaret night every season. And so I've participated in it a bunch of times. And doing Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove was my most recent one, and definitely my favorite one that I've done. I had a friend of mine who's a makeup artist do the makeup for me. So the makeup was spot on. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do that myself. And also the costume that I had, my mom was actually here in town visiting, and she's like a seamstress and used to make me costumes and stuff when I was a kid. So I was like, Mom, you have to help me make this drag look costume Yzma for this night. So like we spent the whole day making the big headpiece with like a wire hanger and fabric, and I had bought a dress, and anyway, it was a great costume making experience for me and Mom. And then like The Emperor's New Groove is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's like a classic Disney, but like I think an underrated Disney movie. And I think Eartha Kitt is like a bit of a drag icon anyway.
Oh,
so like
God,
so doing one of her like cartoon characters was like, I think, a great choice and a great opportunity for me to show off how well I know that movie. I'm the type of person who like just memorizes an entire movie after seeing it a bunch of times. I remember when I was a kid, like I would be able to recite gigantic portions of movies for my friends and stuff. And I remember doing Shrek one time for my friends and their parents. They were just watching me like do the different voices and do basically the whole movie. So yeah, doing Yzma, I was like, I don't even really need to practice this, but doing like lip syncs is a common, performance type in the drag world. And so I was like, I think I'm gonna absolutely fucking slay this. And I did, and it was a fucking blast.
That's awesome. Yeah, the look was fucking spot on, man.
You're making me miss drag nights.
Yeah.
I missed my gaze.
on our not honeymoon, our bachelorette party.
Yeah.
We started off.
We started off at the strip club, and then the quote unquote guys went to more strip clubs, and me and my friends went to the gay clubs.
The drag clubs.
We went to the gay bar, and there happened to be a drag show that night that I didn't actually know was happening, but it was amazing. And how I got introduced to Lady Gaga, actually.
Oh, well, there you go.
No way.
Yes. My first experience with Gaga was Poker Face on a drag stage.
So that was 14 years ago.
Okay, wait. I thought you meant you met Gaga.
No! No.
Lady Gaga.
That would be awesome.
I've met a couple famous people in my life, but not anyone who, like that kind of stratospheric.
Yeah, she's like one of the most famous people of all time.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Who is the most famous person you've met so far?
The most famous person I've met. I mean, I've met people after shows and stuff in New York, like on Broadway. I met Ian McKellen after a performance.
Oh.
Yeah, he was doing
big nerds.
Yeah,
big nerds.
Yeah. Yeah, I met Ian McKellen, and he was really fucking down to earth and sweet. And I took a picture with him and posted it on Facebook. And every now and then it'll come up in my memories, and I'll share it, and people will be like, "What the hell?"
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that's better than anyone that I've ever. I mean, the most for me is David Carradine.
Mm-hmm. Is that the airport one?
No. Oh, that was. Oh God, now I can't remember his name. William Forsythe. I met him. I met him in Toronto in the airport. And it's when you could smoke in the airport. So this was over 20 years ago, and he bummed a cigarette off me.
Sick. I gave a cigarette to David Forsythe.
But yeah, so who would, I mean, of all the, well, I know Kiso is very fond of working in Canada, being a Canadian actor. And I mean, I know he's done the Hollywood thing. What's your aspiration as far as that's concerned?
I do want to be on Broadway. I do want to be a stage actor and do, a play or a musical on Broadway. That's certainly a bucket list item for me. And then, I mean, who doesn't want to be a movie star? Like, sure. Would love that. Would love to move to LA at some point and do, pilot season down there and audition and see what comes of that. I don't know. My whole view of my career and just, the arts and acting in general is a bit upended right now thanks to the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, is theater going to be, is it going to come back? Is it going to be, are we done with theater now, or is it going to come back stronger, or should I really just kind of transition now to doing just film and TV? I don't really know. I just kind of audition for all kinds of things all the time, plays, musicals, movies, television, and whatever sticks. And I kind of just go where the wind takes me at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's really all you can do. I mean, until everybody's, until we've developed a herd immunity, I think we're kind of stuck. I mean, have you got
in the US?
Have you got the vaccine yet? Or are you planning on it?
Not yet.
No, I haven't. Have you guys?
Yes, I have both, and Dean just got his first one day before yesterday.
Yeah. Nice.
So, but I'm a teacher, and they realized, you should probably, do the teachers if you actually want the kids in school. And
yeah, that'd be smart.
And it was like really like all of a sudden the governor went, teachers are now able. Go and do it.
Thank you. Yeah, we're pretty important. Why don't you consider bumping up our salary a little bit?
Yeah, seriously.
Jesus.
Come on now. and don't make us pay for all the things.
Yeah.
We really have learned in this pandemic, like, which jobs are essential and that they are not getting paid enough to do what they do.
Most definitely.
So
during the pandemic, I know a lot of people have been binging, like we have during the pandemic. Have you been binging anything?
Have I been binging anything?
Have you discovered any new?
Well, I was home for like 3 months in Newfoundland for Christmas. I went home for Christmas, but then I stayed home for like 3 months, which I didn't plan on doing. But I was living at home with Mom and hanging out with Mom a lot. We watched Peaky Blinders together, which was really really dope. And then we were watching Outlander, which was like
we still need to finish that.
Yeah,
it's long. Like it's it's long. The episodes are long. It's kind of slow, and there's like a lot of seasons. But a good one when you got lots of time. What else? I went back like last night and started watching Prison Break season 1 again.
Oh, wow.
I'm obsessed with that.
Wentworth Miller.
And
now I can't remember the other guy because
on your show on
because he was also on one of the CW superhero shows. But I there's a picture of him that I have next to Joel Gagne, and I'm like, they look like they're long lost brothers.
Yep. Yeah, they are both that sort of like
big bowling ball headed guys with
just would kick your ass.
Yeah,
but not like a gentle giant. Joel is like honestly one of the sweetest dudes.
That's good to hear.
Yeah,
he's really sweet.
So, what do you foresee for season 10 for Dax and Ron?
Holy crap, I don't know. Season 10, that's wild.
I know that's supposed to start shooting like next month
at some point.
At least that's what Tierney said in the AMA. So
yeah, I think that sometime in May, I think we're supposed to be shooting some more. I don't know. Like Kiso did text me and Greg and say like, I got some funny stuff in the works for you guys. And I had a talk with the costume designer on the show, and she said that I'm going to be back in the gym clothes. So all I can say at this point is I think they're going to be back in the gym, probably doing their chirp thing, probably just doing their Dax and Ron thing. Excited to get back into those short little shorts.
Is there
Plum
any
smugglers?
Is there any actor on Letterkenny that you haven't worked with yet that you'd really love to?
Ooh. You know what? I haven't really worked with McMurray.
Yeah. We haven't seen him much in the last.
No, not so much.
bit.
I mean, he was there at the very beginning with the scrap in the first episode.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, I think we've kind of had scenes with most of the other main people, but I just think he's so funny on the show and would just love to have some kind of
because
I kind of want y'all to flirt with
as uncomfortable as uncomfortable as McMurray gets around. Well, it is.
I'm trying not to be trying to fix the whole homophobia thing.
You got your street, you got your day, and but I ain't one of you.
That's pretty good, dude. I gotta give credit where credit's due for that.
But yeah, he's that would be, and you guys need to get in the scrap too. I mean,
that's the other thing too. I'm like, when are we gonna throw some hands?
Yeah, seriously.
All hands throwing hands.
All hands throwing hands.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sick. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you married me. He's looking at me like, oh.
So what do you want to? Well, I mean, I know you don't know exactly what's going. What would you like to see happen with Dax and Ron, aside from working with hooking up with maybe McMurray?
Hooking up with McMurray. I don't know. We had an idea, Greg and I, at one point. We were like, there should be like a Letterkenny Pride Parade.
Definitely.
Yes.
Dax and Ron should like lead the charge in like a Pride Parade of some kind. So I would love to see something like that happen at some point.
Could be one of their holidays.
Yeah, because we don't fight at weddings. That's one of the things that was brought up when Dan was talking about that. So yeah, that would be brilliant. I would love to see that.
Yeah, me too. That'd be cool.
Because I know they like to do the holiday episodes, and that would be a perfect holiday, I think.
Yeah, like Pride episodes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We need to petition Jared to do that. I mean, I know he's already being petitioned to play Wolverine, which we do not want.
We want that.
We don't want that to happen because we want more Letterkenny. Well, I mean, I think he would be great.
He would be amazing.
I think he would be an awesome Wolverine, but I don't want him to go away from Letterkenny. And I don't really think he wants that. He seems to be very happy in Canada.
I think he is too, and I think he'll keep doing Letterkenny no matter what else he's up to. It's his baby. It's his pride and joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who is the nicest person you've ever met?
Who's the nicest person I've ever met in my life?
Yeah.
Wow. Like my mom, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's the kindest.
Nice. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's
sappy, but
no, that's totally.
I like sappy.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I have my own personal problems with my mom, but that's which I come yeah. I come from a small town in Texas, which is not known for being the most inclusive place in the world, and
he married a raging brown queer, so his mom is not a fan of me.
No. So yeah, it was. So that has not been a pleasant experience for me, and I love that it has been for you. And Tiara with her mom, I love her mom. Tiara's mom is great. So
my mom's everyone's mom.
Yeah. So, but that's great. I asked that of every person who I've interviewed on this from the cast and crew. I think Tyler said that Jared was the kindest person he's ever met, which I thought was funny. I said, but I told him he was just sucking up to keep his job. So.
I feel like there's a big brother, little brother thing going on there.
Well, I said, Jared. I said, Jared's not listening to us. So.
Don't worry, he's not going to hear this.
He won't hear this.
But yeah, Pico is like exceptionally kind and generous and supportive, and he's like a modern day gentleman in a time where like the definition of what it means to be a gentleman is kind of like, what does that mean anymore? He's He's
a Renaissance man.
He is a bit of a Renaissance man. He's redefining what it means, I think, to be a gentleman and to be a leader and to be, kind and take care of people. He's the leader on set. He's the leader of the show, and he's you couldn't ask for a better captain.
And he's an amazing example of non-toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Even with the fighting. I mean, he
there are rules and there are like things that you expect from a fair fight.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
Yeah. So and even after the fight, it's a shake your hand and and
unless you're a degen.
Yeah. True. So
there's a lot of respect built into it, and he gives a lot of respect, and so he gets a lot of respect back.
Yeah.
So aside from Lisa Codrington, which I because now I have to exclude her because she is, from what I understand, the least like her character on the show. Who would you say is aside from Lisa is the least like their own character?
I mean, maybe Tyler because Stuart is such a intense, ridiculous character. Like, I think Tyler is a really confident, cool dude, and like maybe sometimes will slip into like a bit of that sinister attitude just for a joke. But like, I mean, how could you be anywhere near like Stuart?
Yeah.
Stuart is unreal. So yeah, probably Tyler.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, Tyler's like one of the best actors that I've met. He, I don't know, his just command of the energy when he's shooting is really inspiring. He's a really talented dude,
and he's super nice. I mean, I think
he was the first one, like back when we barely had any episodes out, who's like, yeah, sure, I'll come on your podcast. And we're like, oh my God, what?
Yeah, because I watched Supernatural, and I remember seeing him when he was like 15. On
he was a wee baby.
So it was nice. And I can only think that every Canadian actor is very nice because every Canadian
Shatner.
Even Shatner, I think is,
I don't know. I've heard enough stories at this point that
I think the only one that I've really heard a bad story about was Kim Coates. And that's the only one I've heard a bad story about. But anyway, every other. I mentioned that I was we were watching Republic of Doyle, and Patrick chimed in and said, "Oh, Alan's a great guy," and it's like every Canadian actor must be fucking sweet as hell. I
think to make it to a certain level in the industry, you need to be a person that people want to be around and somebody who people want to work with and want to watch on screen. So I think if you're an asshole, you just wouldn't really make it
in Canada.
Yeah. Well, it's not, because that's the thing about cutthroat LA. I mean, because I lived in LA for a while, and I know it's cutthroat. I mean, my best friend that I grew up with ended up becoming an actor, went to LA, and it just, it was just so cutthroat. and I love it that it doesn't seem that way up there for you guys. So, I mean, which I guess the incestuous relationship of all the shows makes that much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's like there's much fewer people. So if you're an asshole, people are going to hear about it and people are going to find out and not want to hire you again. So it's got to be part of your business plan to be a nice person, I guess.
True.
I kind of admire how Canada kind of treats celebrity a lot. Like one of the things when I was growing up, I used to sing a lot, and at one point actually thought about potentially like pursuing something with it. But the whole the way that in the US anyway, it's so demoralizing for people who aren't perfect. I'm I chose a totally different path from that. But like I love in Canada, like especially anytime we have somebody on from up there, we'll try and like do a little research and find out what we can about them. But in Canada, we can't even find like what year most people are born on IMDb. Like you guys don't push that out there. Whereas in the US, I could probably find out what, oh God, name a star right now that I can't even. Like I could probably
Benjamin Bratt.
I could probably find. I doubt I'll find with Benjamin Bratt. How about I could probably find out what Benedict Cumberbatch had for breakfast.
There you go.
Because that's the way that we treat celebrity here. Everything is everybody's business, and yeah, I love that.
Like I think a lot of actors in Canada wish that we had more of a celebrity system here.
I bet.
Because we don't really at all, and it's hard to, I don't know, feel like you get any kind of momentum going or to build up a reputation as especially a theater actor, but even, our film actors as well, like don't have clout really until they move to LA and start working there. And then, people start to think that they're a celebrity, but we really don't have a star system here in Canada, which my Canadian actor friends have been lamenting for as long as
that is a shame. I mean, because if you think about it, there's lots of influencers on, whether it's Instagram or TikTok or whatever, that are you would probably find more easily than many Canadian actors who have been working for years and are brilliant. Yeah. So and that's and not to take anything away from them, but I mean it's not like
it's just because the media consumption is so US centric that what happens here is seen as the best, even though it is not in any way necessarily true. I don't know. I just like I totally get that. It would be hard to kind of make a name for yourself when you don't have things like that. I mean,
because it's like everybody has a handler down here.
Yeah.
So.
I think like finding a happy medium between the two would be like the best thing for the entire industry. But, everything is still so US centric where we really do not deserve it.
It does seem though that Canadian entertainment is having a resurgence like it did kind of in the 80s when you had with the Kids in the Hall and a lot of the things that were coming out.
Canadian shows in the 80s, that you got me on that. Like that was me growing up. Like original Degrassi, oh hell yeah. My grandmother would videotape it so that when I would go up and visit, I would get to see the whole season at once. Like that was original binging for me. Yeah. Because we didn't have that beam down here.
True.
But Kids in the Hall. God, there were quite a few actually. Now I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it does seem like Canadian television especially is having a moment right now, which is cool.
Yeah. I think it's great. I mean, and so many great actors up there, from...
Well, and the pandemic is definitely helping with that too, because people like Letterkenny, for example, before the pandemic, we knew a lot of people who watched the show and we'd been, doing the podcast for a while at that point. But even people we know discovered Letterkenny over the pandemic time and are now obsessed with it and have watched the whole thing multiple times. And like this time has allowed people to actually sit down and watch TV again, which is not really something that was super common for a lot of people I knew going into. So like I have friends who actually bought TVs because they didn't even have one before all of this.
You got to start somewhere.
Right.
So, speed round.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So we're gonna these for the most part. These are yes or no's, but or short answer. So, is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Cake or pie?
Cake.
Favorite Disney villain?
Hades
from Hercules.
Ooh,
nice.
Man, that's because James Woods
is a piece of shit
too. Sorry about that. But
he will always, in my mind, every time I think of him, though, it's always, ooh, piece of candy.
I know.
What movie do you hate that everyone else seems to love?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't hate any movies. I don't like horror movies. I don't.
Oh.
So as a whole genre, that's kind of written off for me.
That's unfortunate.
I know. I'm sorry.
Now, would you star in a horror movie?
Yes.
Would you go see it after you started it?
Your mom would be like, I don't want to watch you get killed.
Maybe not in the theater. I think I'd have to wait till it comes out on video, watch it in the daytime with lots of friends around.
I mean, you could be the killer.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe that would help me get over the fear, though.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you had a theme song, what would it be?
Uptown Funk by Bruno Mars.
Oh,
nice.
All right. I can see that.
All right.
Cool.
What's next for you?
Bed. What's next? I'm hoping to release an EP, like a 5-song EP of some of my original music coming up this summer, which I'm really excited about.
Very cool.
And going to be working at the Shaw Festival here in Niagara-on-the-Lake for this year, shooting more Letterkenny in May. Yeah, that's kind of it. I don't have like big plans for this is the next thing that I'm going to tackle. I guess just again, I kind of just take things as they come. And especially with the pandemic now, I'm just trying to stay afloat and get my debts paid off and then see where we're going to be at. Maybe, this time next year. I'm going to be turning 30 next year in March. I just turned 29. I know. And so I'm hoping that like when I turn 30, the pandemic will be over. I'll have all my debts paid off, and I will be in a position to go like, okay, what is my life going to be now?
When's your birthday, by the way?
It's March 22nd.
March 22nd. Okay.
Yeah.
That's close to our anniversary.
Where can everyone find you?
Yeah.
Ooh, you can find me on Instagram at James Patrick Daly. You can find me on Spotify and Apple Music. You can find my music, James Daly. You can find me on Letterkenny.
Yeah.
Season 10 coming up. You can catch me on Working Moms. Yeah, that's probably it.
Shaw Festival.
And at the Shaw Festival.
How do people find the Shaw Festival?
I mean, you'd have to come visit Niagara-on-the-Lake to see some shows, but we might be trying to do some online performances as well this year, like everybody's doing. So, I don't know. Keep your eyes peeled. Maybe I'll share something with the Harry and Now podcast if I've got a performance coming up.
That would be beautiful.
That'd be cool. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you guys.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to chatting with you ever since asking you. I was getting nervous.
He's got a get list.
I do.
And you were on the get list from like your first episode.
Yeah.
He's like, I want to.
And Greg will be next, yes, I'm sure.
Yes.
So if I can get a hold of him.
Tell him we don't bite unless they want.
Hard.
Unless they ask nicely.
I'll tell him he has to do it.
I appreciate that. James, thank you so much. You're a beautiful human being, and we look forward to seeing everything that you're doing going forward.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dean and Tiara. It's been such a pleasure, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
All right.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.